Asylum Live, March 27th, 2025, with our special guest, Creatrix Brit. Hey, Brit, give us a word for tonight.
Yup, nup.
Yup, nup. We're going to talk about that one. That's pretty awesome. Guys, thank you for being here. And Brit, thank you so much for being here. Without y'all, I would be so lonely. But anyway, guys, I won't hesitate any further, but I want to introduce you to Brit. Not Sith Lord Brit, not Star Wars Brit, and definitely not hot mom Brit, because you'll get a boot to the neck. But here's our first question to Creatrix Brit. Am I going to get banned tonight?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I don't know about the hot mom thing. That's not the worst thing I've been called today.
Oh,
You guys
okay. Well, maybe
try it. Test it. See if,
test it.
I might let the comments stay. I might delete it. I don't know. But like, try it out maybe.
She's walking by. She might go,
Fine.
okay, I'll take that today. Yeah.
It's a bad day. I'll leave it. Bad day, but a good day to leave that comment, you know? It just depends on the mood.
Hey, Prickcraft, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you guys for coming on in the room. We are talking with Creatrix Brit today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Now, she said a word, and I think that word, we'll probably say that. That might be our word for today. If we don't know what to say, instead of and we're just going to go, yub nub.
Yub nub.
Yeah, right. Because you just had an interesting experience happen with that.
I did. So sometimes, these platforms can be a little quirky about what they want to moderate, what they don't. Like this new language has evolved in recent times with what you can and can't say on the internet. So we've come up with our own language to work around that so that the point is made, but you don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things are avoided, but this was a more interesting one. Someone had made a comment about an Ewok 3D print, and so I got on into the comments and I said, "Yup, nope," with an exclamation point. So there wasn't any like weird characters. Like I was trying to hide something. It was very straightforward. Yup, nub. Yo, immediately axed.
Oh my
Straight to
gosh.
jail. Yeah. Cannot comment, cannot say anything, do not reinstate, you're in jail. And I'm like, because I was on my work account. This is the work account.
Oh,
was like,
wow.
can't talk to this creator, can't leave any more comments, can't say or do
No.
anything. And I was like, yo, are you? And it said, I'm sorry, you have left hate speech. Hate speech has been detected. And you're
Wow. Guys, did y'all know that
Are you
Ewoks
kidding?
were racist? Did y'all know that?
Oh, apparently they're just terribly furry little racist creatures. And I felt so awful. I was like, because like you were saying earlier, for 1/2 second, I had to question myself. I was like, girl, do some introspection real quick. Do you know, is that related to something? Like, is it, like, have you heard that
Right.
before? And I'm really looking inside being like, it doesn't look like anything. You can't, like use the first
Yeah.
letters of each word to make it like there's nothing. I'm sitting here just like racking my brain. Like, I know I'm dumb
Yeah.
sometimes, like I'm a social idiot sometimes. I'm like, really? Racism? That's awful. Like, I would never if I knew, but I was like, is this an accident? I racked my brain for hours. Like, I was sweating over this one.
That
I was
would,
like, no,
yeah.
no, you can't. No possible way.
I'm
So
with
it
you.
took like over like 90 days for them to finally reinstate that
90
comment.
days. Oh
For
my
90 days it's
gosh.
been, yeah. Went
Wow.
back and I was like, yo, what?
That is crazy. Now that might be a crazy. That's the
That was
best
the first.
ban story I've heard. Now, is that your first time ever to get banned?
Yeah.
Really?
On TikTok.
Okay.
On TikTok. And
Okay.
I've put questionable things before. I've put some pretty silly things. Let's put it that way. Really silly things, mostly in my videos, in my own videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, a Star Wars quote, that was the first one. I was kind of shocked. I was taken aback because again, it was on the work account. So I felt
Yeah.
really bad that it was,
Yeah.
that
No,
mark is going to be on their
I get that.
history.
And this is kind of a topic of
That's funny.
conversation for us today, because I got a little bit of a ding today during a live because of something Courtney said. I got my live got squashed and was not being shared with people because Courtney said something, and she talked about hiding places for can I say perifumar? Maybe is that, I think that's the proper appropriate word.
Stash. Stash. A hiding place for her stash.
A stash.
Of
Can we say stash?
snack.
She's stashing
Yeah.
snacks. That's what it was.
Stashing snacks.
Not
Her
that
snack spot.
and don't get confused. I'm not saying she does anything. I'm just saying she was joking about it, guys. But Yeah, so
There's a good
I don't get many things like that on my channel, and I was just taken aback. It was just really, really interesting. But now you mentioned your job account. Let's get into that. So what is this job account we're talking about?
Yeah, so the day job, the art director job, the fancy grown-up job.
The fancy grown-up job.
Not the fun
Yeah.
cosplay,
Right.
transition videos I'm used to doing here. But, so during the day, my current project is acting as the current art director and team manager for the Polymaker Education account.
Okay.
So some people will recognize me from being the face of that, but, creating the vertical video for that account, as well as the, 3D printable files that go along with it. So every 48 hours, we make a post about, some kind of 3D printable, object that is educational, entertaining, fun, supports learning in some kind of way. So, whether it has to do with kids' development, being in the classroom, whatever it might be, if we can relate it somehow to kids' education and development, then we'll make it and we'll publish it.
Okay.
So I've got the chance to work with a lot of really cool different artists and designers and a lot of really good people on that project, and it's been a good time.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. That is awesome. Now that's been pretty recent, hasn't it? Within last
it's
year?
just hit our 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Just hit our 1-year anniversary. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, okay, that's cool. Now, so Art Dirt, kind of explain. I know you said you work with creators. You give us a little more detail on that job. I think it just sounds it being when you say art director, there's a lot of visuals that kind of fly around. Kind of, what are your responsibilities? Do you come up with topics? Do you just kind of give a general idea?
Yeah. A lot of the roles and responsibilities kind of comes down to, like I said, team management. But
Okay.
sometimes you work with individual artists, or like I worked with people on individual projects, or worked with companies on projects or with individual artists. So it's kind of keeping schedules, keeping everything on time, making sure that when the files come out, that they're all kind of doing like quality assurance, making sure that everything is where it needs to be,
Okay.
making sure that um, kind of also it's I would say marketing adjacent
Yeah. Yeah.
to look at everything, make sure that the whole image and everything is still cohesive, it's still moving forward or evolving or not evolving if you want it to stay the same, and continuing to look at the road ahead, marking out milestones you'd like to hit, whether it be on social media or with sales or whatever you have going on, and bringing in content, always testing out new things,
Hmm.
learning the algorithms, making sure that the content's being posted for the artist or for the project. And yeah, it's just a lot of little things.
Okay. Yeah.
Just tons of nothing's really too difficult.
You lost me
And
at
having
managing
some knowledge of
artists.
art.
Yeah, you lost me at
I was gonna
managing
say,
artists. I was like, oh no,
yeah.
managing
Honestly, that
artists.
might be the hardest part of it. Yeah, I would say art that's literally my joke. If you guys spend any time with me during the day, you'll hear me go, "Artists, man."
Say no more. Say no more. I
I kid it. I can say that I'm one.
Oh, I know, I know, I understand.
Just say
I think
that.
we all kind of act that way sometimes. So no, that is
We
cool.
do. We
So
get that way.
that sounds really cool. Now, and we're going to kind of step back. So prior to that, I met you a few years ago when you were working with FenceForge and really starting to get into FenceForge. Yeah, that's right, FenceForge. No,
Advertisement?
Fotis Mint. That's it. Sorry, I apologize for that. Fotis Mint, and you were actually starting to get into design and 3D modeling, and you had we met. We were doing the I guess first the RepRap in Maryland was I think the first one where we kind of got together in person and were able to talk.
Mhm.
And you had just come out with your first model, I think, and we're really working
Yeah.
that. Now, was that your full-time job at that time, or were you doing some other things?
Mhm. Yeah, that was already, my role, my full-time position at that point. I believe by the time, yeah, we got there, that was a full-time role for
Okay,
me.
okay,
Um, yeah, again, even just once people kind of know your taste in things or how you operate or what you like, what you don't like, and they know that you have a similar style, You'll have a lot of people or friends that will be like, "Hey, can I get a critique?"
Right.
Critiques are free for friends. Oh, yeah, 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 we'll give you a critique.
Always.
So from that, I've actually had a couple of things, a couple of projects that I've been like a silent partner on, or
Okay.
that, people have asked for my time, or what could you work on this project, or could you look at this individual file even? I've had people ask me for, even just the smallest amount of direction, because sometimes you need that as a creative, is just to have an outside set of eyes look
Yeah.
at your art, because it's like being a parent. I see my little project very differently than how someone on the outside sees it.
Very, very
So,
true.
yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it, is being that set of eyes that looks at the whole picture and that isn't too close to the trees all the time, staring at the details. Like I'm looking at the forest
Right.
constantly,
Well,
probably obsessing over it too much.
and
So they like that.
that's even a special place because you can't just take that to someone that you don't trust. You have to take it to
Right.
somebody who you know is going to be one, going to be honest with you, and two, doesn't want to hurt you in any way because it's a very
Yeah.
vulnerable spot to be in.
Yeah.
And I
To
think
ask someone to judge your art is personal. Yeah.
yeah, and
For
that
sure.
speaks to your integrity, I
Intimate.
think, and that's why as we go down that, I want people to understand that there is an integrity in that when it comes to Brit, and we've talked about some things offline and stuff where if you show integrity, if you show community, if you show friendship, people will come and they will trust you with some of the hardest things in their lives because they know that you'll be honest. Whether you defend them or not, it doesn't matter. They just know that who you are is who they need to talk to, right?
Yeah.
And,
I wear that as a badge of honor when my friends approach me and just say, "Hey, I need to confide in you."
mm-hmm.
That makes me want to value that and respect that, so much more than I think what even they might expect, just because you want to keep that safe and sacred.
Yeah,
I do want my friends and my artists to know that they can approach me and can say things to me, and that I'm going to go out of my way to say things in a constructive way. Maybe not even always in a nice way, but in a way that they might need to accept that
yeah,
message. Um, yeah, because it's not always about being nice. It's, like managing anything is not about niceness. It's about getting things done effectively, but also not breaking relationships along the way.
right.
Being courteous. Um, yeah, having some civility about how you present information matters so much. It's tact is so lost upon people that when people approach me and say, "Hey, this is difficult, and you're the person that I want to entrust this with," um, I'm very honored.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. I think that's great. That reminds me one of my favorite quotes from Into the Woods. Great show where you have someone says, "Sometimes being nice is not good, and it's more about being truthful and honest."
Yeah.
And I've had a friend recently say something, and this friend is getting older, and the jobs he's going for are looking for younger people, and he's like, I'm just depressed. I'm just sad. I don't know what to do. I think I'm too old. I think it's about these young people. And I'm like, get out of your head. Yes, you're old, but you are wizened and you need to find a different place to be. And
I
so
was gonna say,
sometimes
"Oh, man, leverage that." Yeah, are you kidding me? That
I
is,
know.
like, insanely valued in other spaces. Yeah, I would turn that one right back around and use it in my favor to make me unique.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, it's hard. Sometimes you do need that friend to yeah,
Yeah.
shakes you by the shoulders. You're like, "Oh, okay. Oh my god. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much." Not
And
everyone can do that, but we all need that one person who can do
right.
that.
And it's hard when you first start doing it, it's kind of a scary place to be as a friend when you're being honest and open. You're like, I really don't want to damage this relationship, but I also want to be truthful.
Yeah.
And
I, there's always a nice way to say stuff. Even if the words themselves aren't necessarily kind, there's, I think, a way to speak to people with your tone of voice, with your body positioning, with the time that you present that information, that you can deliver it in a softer way if that's what you're fearing is hurting and harming. Is it like, I have
yeah.
this dagger and I need to put it in your hands, but I just want to be so, there's definitely ways that you can pass that thing over, that object over without causing harm or making them feel threatened.
Yeah.
And it's an art form and it's hard. It's hard as heck. But it has to be practiced
It-
often. And yeah, it's something I don't think anyone's perfect at. We all have to try, but I try very hard. I really do want that skill set,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
That's
strengthened in my life.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Guys, we are sitting here. We are talking with Creatrix Brit. Now, what I want y'all to do is as y'all learn more about her, y'all could see just kind of the type of person that she is, guys. And that's the type of person you receive on all of her channels. She does have now it's Polymaker Education is what she's doing now as her business. We don't like to think of the business. We think of it as fun.
It's
And
fun.
then, and then she has Creatrix Brit, her own channel, where you find an interesting mix of things and in a recent video of me. That was.
It's a mashup. My channel is definitely a
It
mashup.
is a mashup. It is a mashup. She got me in one of her videos last week when I was in New York, and I'm not great at those things. I have fun though.
But he was great in this one, so you guys should go find it and like it.
You
You
should.
should like it multiple times, and you should bookmark it and share it,
And share
and
it.
then leave the comment yub nub on that video.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so
Yep.
awesome. That would be awesome. Hey, guys, thank y'all for coming in. Thank you. Good to see y'all in here. I see everybody. We got everybody everywhere. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, so get over there. And if you don't know, you can't find her, you can always find this link tree, right? And that link tree will take you to everything that you need to know. See, that's what's beautiful about the link tree. You know, we've all gone through that series of we're scared we're going to lose our audience because one of our tools is going away and but you know, if we diversify and we make it easy for people to find us, it will always be easy for people to find us. So the link tree is a great place. So all right, so working with artists, doing that kind of stuff, we could talk about that all day because that's I did audio engineering for 35 years, and it was all about bands and artists and, you know, just kind of those personalities and things. And so it's always a fun group to work with. But now, prior to that, what were you doing? What were you doing? What was the job before that?
So in a previous life,
We're doing
what it feels
previous
like at
lives.
this point.
We're doing previous, and she's done a lot, guys.
Long ago.
We're going to kind of step back through some of these things. So
Yeah, long, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away. I was finding parallel. What? Oh, villain stories. She's so silly. Sorry, I'll stop everything I'm doing to read what Courtney has to say.
oh, of course, of course.
So, right, don't we all? Yeah, in a very previous past, very, very long, ancient history, you know, when dinosaurs were walking the earth, I went to paramedic school and fire academy in college and did all the things kind of like as quickly as possible so that I could get out on the road and start working. And I did 10 years as a paramedic, as a professional paramedic. And then I was an instructor as well at the local community college and teaching the actual labs. So the practical application of skill sets and teaching them and judging them on their skill sets.
Oh, wow.
So actually starting the IVs, taking the blood pressure, carrying patients, even like all of that they're graded on.
Yeah.
So I did that because unfortunately as a paramedic in the United States, you have to work multiple jobs to make a living.
Yeah,
So
you
we
do.
all worked multiple jobs.
Yeah.
And that was my second. And then the third was being a proctor on site for that same school.
Okay.
Was also like when they did their clinicals was to be at the hospital and kind of overseeing them as they were doing their clinical rotations. I did even fixed wing aircraft transfers for a minute. I know this. I don't even talk about that one.
Like-
Actually, this might be the first time I ever mentioned that out loud.
Well, I didn't know about the
company.
fire stuff. I heard the fire stuff. I'm going, oh, wait. Well,
Yeah.
what? No, keep going.
Yeah, I was a volunteer. I'll say I was a volunteer firefighter. So what was happening was I was trying to get hired on. What we have here in the States, for anyone who's not in the States, is we have what's called an integrated system. So our fire and EMS are typically together within the same department.
I hear somebody.
because-
I hear the siren right
I
now.
was gonna say, yeah, sorry, you guys aren't here. I live in New York, if anyone didn't know. That's why I'm always loud. That's why I'm loud. So now you know. Now you know. So I was trying to get on at a fire department. So you had to have both. I wanted to do both. It wasn't like one over the other. I really wanted to do both. Since I was a little kid, I was that weird kid eating spaghetti while watching Trauma Life in the ER. And everyone's like, "Gross," and I'm just like, "Are you kidding? This is fascinating." Like, it just did not faze me or bother me to see the human body in a broken state, and everyone was just like, "This is you're strange," and I'm like, "Yeah, tell me something new." And so I was obsessed with everything that had to do with medicine, specifically emergency medicine, so I knew I was like, "I wanna be a physician or firefighter, paramedic, one or the other." And so I went to school for pre-med, I finished my degree, and I got to the point where I was applying for MCATs and applying to medical school, and that was when I stopped that journey. But being a paramedic shaped so much of who I am today that I couldn't imagine a life, not doing it. It still
Yeah.
is a part of my like I talk about it constantly. People still call me. I still have family sending me emails and stuff. This is what my doctor said to me. Can you explain this to me? I'm like, you all know I'm not a physician. I don't even practice EMS anymore. Like it can't. Okay, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like the living WebMD for my family, unfortunately,
Yeah.
still. But, I'm also honored that they trust me with that, but that was a huge part of who I was that ever moving forward without it was very scary.
Yeah.
It took a lot of self, a lot of introspection and a lot of growth to be able to, like, s I realized it was so unhealthy, like, so much about who I was this job and this position that I was like, "If I let go of it, like, who am I?"
Yeah.
And had to kinda, like, steady my feet and be like, "No, I'm
Wow.
still this person. I'm still,
Yeah.
I still hold value." Um, and kinda, like, had to again, not even I hate saying this, like, "Oh, I had to find myself." No, I've never been I know exactly who I am. I just felt like, who am I if I'm not investing my time into others?"
Yeah.
And it really showed me how much I was not caring for myself and being fair to myself and giving myself a moment to breathe or to have hobbies and stuff like that, and it
Yeah.
was kinda like, "Okay, this is a moment you need to chill out," and also because I was making a person, so I had a child at my 11th year, and
Mm.
I had moved into the ER. So they hire paramedics essentially as to work in the capacity as an RN in the ERs because you have the skill set to do those things, and they can put you on the code blue team in the hospital. So I can run a code the same way I would in the
Yeah.
field, but in the
In the
hospital. So it
hospital.
it
Yeah.
frees up a physician, yeah, so that
Yeah.
one of the physicians don't have to, like, drop everything they're doing,
Yeah.
to go to one of those codes, and of course, I did that as well. So I was in the hospital, and I remember I had such it wasn't horrible morning sickness for my first child, but it was just a bad experience one day. If anyone knows what a Gasparilla is
Mm.
in Tampa, Florida, they have Gasparilla every year. It's like a big festival, and they do, like, this whole pirate theme to it. Basically, it's like St. Patty's Day, like a week-long thing, and everyone gets up and just drinks all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just had just drunk people everywhere, everywhere, lining the walls, the floor. Oh my god, they were
It's
everywhere, and so I, like, have morning sickness. I'm very early in my pregnancy.
oh no.
Like, walking, bracing my body against the freaking walls of this hallway, just like, "Oh my god, I'm going to
Oh
die."
no.
It's just the
I
smell
can't
of
imagine the
Gasparillas
smells and
everywhere.
everything. Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god, made me question my whole life, but that was the day that I was like, "Maybe I'm ready to, like, do some, like, paper pushing." So they actually transferred me into a non-clinical position for the
Yeah.
rest of my pregnancy because that was the day I was like, "I can't do this anymore."
I can't
I just
imagine
can't
that. I
do
can't
this.
imagine that. That's
It was
crazy.
tough.
Yeah.
It was tough,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did love it. So that transition period was good for me to do the non-clinical work and
Mhm.
learn a little bit of behind the scenes. I learned so much about billing and insurance and all of the awful things that go along with it. And had my first child, had my second child, and I had what I like to call a coming out, where I had to essentially, like, literally tell everyone in my life, like, "By the way, this whole time, and I never told you all, I'm actually a creative."
That's
It's
funny.
so
That's
scary.
funny.
So scary to be like, I know you guys thought I was a super scientific person. I was very, like, one side brain. I was like, "Actually, I'm both." "Oh, no, and please don't hate me." And everyone's like, "Okay, cool." Like, people who knew me knew behind the scenes since college, I've been
Mhm.
involved in cosplay, helping other people make stuff, um, projects, decorating things, like, anything that was crafty or
Right.
clever or artistic, and I've been painting my whole life. My parents put me into art classes when I was young, um, and it was always just, like, a part of my life, but it was always, like, behind the scenes, like, I didn't show it off to anyone. I I
Yeah.
keep it for myself. It's a very specific project, or I gave it away.
Gotcha. Now,
Yeah, it's
have
kind of
you
a
ever
weird thing.
done any of that for commission, or is it all you just pretty much? I mean, not as like of right now, but back kind of earlier.
Even back then, well, I would say actually friends would pay me, like, when I would make something for them, like props and stuff, they
Mhm.
would, because I would put so much time into it, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing this cosplay," but then they'd ask for help on it. I did actually get money for a lot of the for some of the things I made
Cool.
back then. But yeah, things I always tend to let go of things and not I don't do any, like, collectibles or tchotchkes or anything. I don't do a whole lot of that.
Right.
So I tend to if I'm making something, I tend to have, like, a home for it, have a home in mind, when I start that process.
Right. Right. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I think creative. Just be glad you didn't say influencer. I think that's when people want to go. "Rrrr."
They're like, "No, we cannot talk to you anymore. I'm a
Exactly.
content creator." Gosh darn
Darn
it.
it.
I didn't
No.
raise you to be a content creator. I'm sure this my father probably did, honestly. He
Yeah.
probably did have a moment of just like, "Ah, I thought I did a better job than this."
My family's like,
Sorry, Dad.
what does that mean? What do you mean you're a content creator? And my nieces and nephews are like, can you help me?
I
So
got a channel. I
yeah,
love that's so cute.
yeah,
Yeah, I that was hard. That was a hard transition too, was like telling people that, okay, I'm doing this for fun and I'm making content, but just because I see other people making content and it helps me learn. So if other people want to learn, and so it was fun. At
yeah,
first, I didn't have to do that. I was caring for my children. I was fortunate enough to raise my children, and being at home all day just left me craving that, human interaction.
yeah. Oh yeah,
It was a lonely experience raising
yeah.
children through the what do we call it? Panorama? What do we call it on this on which platforms are we on again? I can't remember.
Yeah.
The um, the
I'll say pandemic.
and
Well, it's okay.
okay,
We'll
there you
live.
go.
We'll
It is
live.
what it is.
Yes, I
Okay.
know.
So raising them through that was very lonely and isolating,
Yeah,
and it just felt natural to be like, "Hey, the way that you get through this is to connect with other people
yeah,
however you can, whether it's through the window and you wave at people, or you do the pots and pans at 4 o'clock, whatever it might be." And for me, it was playing video games and being social. So I started streaming on Twitch, trying to connect with other people that played the video games that I played. And I did. I made some of the most wonderful friends, like,
awesome.
they're actual IRL friends I've met. I've hugged them. I'm like, "You're real." It's the most beautiful thing to meet an online friend. "You're
It is
actually
awesome.
real." Like, I can't tell you how many times I've ugly cried meeting my online gaming friends. Real valuable friendships I've had for years. So that was my way of reaching out and making those friends, but making that crossover between like, "Oh, this is it's just for fun," try to put yourself down a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Just like, "Oh, it's just like a silly thing I do on the side. I'm not
yeah.
serious about it, guys." To like finally coming out and telling everyone like, "Oh, by the way, I'm getting paid for this and this is what I do full time now."
Right. And I read about it every day and I live it, eat it, drink it. Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is my life. Like, oh, okay. They
Uh,
they have to cross over and kind of tell people that,
so
right?
Bob Carnes says, hello. And did you mean friends or fiends? Do you know Bob Carnes?
Both? ¿Por qué no los dos, Bob?
There you go. There you go. No, so guys, so let's step back. Let's look at what we're learning about Brit. I do these shows because we want to know about her. And we talk about the things that she does, just to kind of start digging down into about her. But listen to some of the things she's doing, talking about friendship, about trust, about relationships. She wants to feed into people, those types of things. And you look at even that first career that she chose, right? We're into a point where, I mean, guys, I had 2 years of nursing, and past that point, I went into physical therapy, so I had an easy life when it came to that type of stuff. But you can't imagine the stuff that the people in fire and rescue and those areas go through just to help people. That's life on the line stuff, and that is a talent and that is a dedication. And so I do, Britt, I do want to ask you, like, looking back into high school and and as you were growing up, when did that start becoming something that was important to you? When did you realize, oh no, this is how I need to be?
It was always there for me. I know there's kind of two personalities in EMS, and people can agree or disagree with me. I don't mind. This is my personal viewpoint on EMS: is you have the people that really want to be there. I guess we'll say three. All right. There's three categories. Okay, three. I'm already retracting my statements now. The people who just were like, just nerded out, passionate, loved it, just really wanted to do it, want to get in there, want to make people's lives better, and very gung ho. And then you have the people who kind of just like, my dad did it, and I didn't know what else I wanted to do. So I'm like here now. You
Yeah.
know, you have
Yeah.
those guys. And then there's like a little mesh of people in between. But I kind of feel like it's people that just kind of like defaulted into it, people who just were really crazy about it, because no one really, like, casually enters EMS. You
Mhm.
kinda get to clinicals, and that tells you whether or not this is something you wanna do.
Yeah.
When you actually get in there, we had a day you might find this interesting. We had a day um, in EMS, in class when you went to paramedic school or EMT school, where it was very purposeful, and I'm absolutely sure if I look back now, I would be shocked and horrified at why we did this, but the thought process was, everything has been very controlled in classroom
Mhm.
setting, and here's your book, and here's the first step, second, and then we tell them like along the way, by the way, when you get out there, it's going to get a little crazy and it gets a little mixed up and you don't hit every step. Sometimes you got to go backwards. And they hear you say it, but it doesn't really sink in. So we have this one day where we'll have all of the students be in one classroom, and you're constantly setting up scenarios for them to walk into, and you test them on the whole algorithm of what to go through and what to say and
Right.
how we're going to test them for their final exams. So they practice like crazy. But we do one where we'll set up in another space, in another area, make them go out to it. And we'll lay the dummy down, and we'll throw over some tables and some chairs and stuff and turn the lights out and spray something that smells nasty just so they walk in there like, oh, what the? It throws them off completely. And then the second that they touch the patient, we have another instructor who comes out from the back just screaming, "Oh my god, my dad!" Just acting hysterical,
Yeah.
that just throwing over shit, not ever at them, but like, being
Right.
very dramatic and like pushing stuff over and like beating on the wall, like, "No, don't beat it." Just very like it's a little bit, yeah, soap opera-esque, but they're doing their best. But you're really in there to like scare them and shock them because they're so used to going through this algorithm in a nice air conditioned room that's very quiet.
Yeah.
Everyone else is sitting, and then they kinda get that real world, like, "Oh my god, my mom's not breathing, she's not breathing, my baby," like, that kind of stuff, and showing them, "Now you have to perform this in these settings," and almost everyone fails that round, like, everyone gets I remember seeing some grown men like, sitting back in their chair after that just being like, and you get, like, you hear it, you can hear their head, and inside their head, that little voice is being like, "Is this really what you wanna do? Are you sure you wanna do this
Yeah.
for the rest of your life?" And they're like just, like, talking to God at that point. You're like, "Bruh, leave them alone, let them process."
Yeah.
Because people just go like, "Oh, this isn't the controlled chaos that everyone said it is. It's just chaos."
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just the only thing you control is yourself. You
Yeah.
don't control the cat, you try. It's like wrangling cats.
Yeah.
And people are screaming at you and upset, and they're hurt. They're having the worst day of their life, and you have to walk in there and make sense of it all,
Yeah.
and, have them suddenly just trust you with their entire life or with their child's life or their parents' life. They've
Yeah.
never seen you.
Yeah. It's
I ain't
hard.
never seen your face before. You're a stranger, and now I just
Yeah.
have to get you to magically trust me. Um, so it was stressful and it was a lot, but I think that day would kind of it was like the sorting hat of days for people that they would go and be like, "Do I really am I so passionate about this? Do I really love this so much? Or am I so interested or curious about this?" Or is that the day where the curiosity kind of dies and they go, "Okay, now I've seen it and I don't want that. No,
Yeah.
thank you."
Yeah.
Which I think honestly, this is kind of like a weird thing to say, but I have a lot of respect for the people that get into something like that and have the humility to be like, "No, thank you. I can't. I'm not built for this. I don't want this. I want something else."
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people kind of push past that because they were too afraid to be like, "Oh, I don't wanna look like a quitter," and then they get into something that they don't love,
Yeah.
and that makes me sad for them because I see what happens to people like that after
Yeah.
10, 20 years of them hating their job.
Well,
So I have a lot of respect for people who can look at themselves and be like, this isn't for me. I'd rather invest my time in somewhere else. And I'm like, that's so smart of you.
Mhm.
And I applaud you. I will never crack at anyone who drops out of a class or a school because they realize that they're really not built for it. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, and it's hard, and that speaks to even your decision that you made getting out. Sometimes it might not be your decision. Sometimes it might be your decision. But we're all told this is how you do something, right? And we look at,
Hmm.
oh, I want to do this when I grew up, or I want to do this, and we passionately chase after that because that's how our value sits in the world, right? And so when you hit that point, you have that decision. And I think the hardest decision that's probably the hardest decision in the world, especially if it's not made for you and you have to figure out where I go next, right? And
Right.
and that's and that kind of speaks to you. How when you find yourself sitting in a spot like that, whether it was your choice or not, and you feel like how you were defined, because I have been through this. How I was defined was crushed in my life, and I had to go, what next?
Yeah.
How did you step through that? What was whether it was support structures, whether it was I had to go camping for what did you do to get through that?
I was gonna say, so when I left, it was kind of the decision was made for me. I, found
Mm,
out that I was pregnant with my child, and that was a choice um to have him and to stay at home with him. I feel like again, it literally came down to a financial decision of the amount of money it would take to put my child into daycare
mm,
for the place that I was going to be would leave me with, like, almost nothing in my bank account. It almost broke even
mm,
what it would cost for childcare for my child versus what I would be making at one job.
right.
So I have to go back to childcare and then work multiple jobs just to, like, not be breaking even, to work one job, sometimes be at home.
Right.
It just was like, this is it almost it felt unfair, and to be honest with you, like, I don't look at myself with the same kind of respect I look at people that would drop out of the program at that one
Oh.
day. I don't, because I saw myself it was so it was so ungraceful. It was so not pretty. It was it there was a lot of emotions with it. There was a lot of anger with it. I felt very cheated of, like, I've given myself to this system,
Yeah.
that isn't giving anything back to me, and
Yeah.
it felt like I was taken advantage of just because I had this particular interest, and it felt very unfair,
Mm,
uh, that I was an experienced woman, an educated woman with college degree. I had years of experience. I had years of experience in teaching in
yeah.
both lab and in the classroom, um and I was like, "Why how am I barely cutting even? This is how am I supposed to buy a home,
Right.
with my child or have a car if my car breaks down?" I was like, "I'm just barely breaking even."
Yeah.
And that was the point where it took that anger to really push me forward and be like, "You this is another awkward thing of, like, explaining to people, like, "This is my OCD."
Say
But
whatever you
I don't
need to
believe in
say.
signs,
Say whatever you
right?
need to say.
I don't believe in signs. I'm not one of those people like, "That's a sign."
I
That's not
got
a
you.
sign. I'm not a signs person. But the fact that I hit my 10-year mark, I am, like, clinically OCD chat. Let me just, like, explain that one too. I'm very open about that discussion. This is not, like, a new fact. People know this about me. It'll start to make sense the longer you know me. You're like, "Oh, okay, I see it now." I'm pretty good at masking it, but, like, you'll see it pop out every once
No
in a while.
comment. No
That's
comment.
right? I was gonna say, it's okay. I don't take offense to it. It's just another slice of the pie
Yeah.
here. But looking at it is like, when I hit that 10-year mark, and I was like, "Oh my god, I actually hit, like, 10 years at this position or at this job," and it almost, like, for my OCD wrapped it up nicely, was like, "Hey, it was a decade. It was 10 years.
Yeah.
Look at that package all wrapped up nicely in a bow. 10.
Yeah.
Yay, you made it 10. You got to the double digits. Good for you. Pat on the head." Like, it kind of actually helped me, the fact that I hit that mark,
I got you.
kind of move on. The
Yeah.
fact that I had that anger and that bitterness is almost like a breakup, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have that where it's like, I loved you so hard for so long, so much of me into you to not receive that back. And then to have that bitter, nasty breakup where just like, now I just look at you and I just hate your guts. I
Yeah.
can't even look at you,
No,
that
I get
angry
that.
phase of just like, oh, how can it be this way? It was so good for so long. And now it's going to be this. So just like the whole process of letting that go and saying,
Yeah.
okay, not a big deal. Paramedics come and go all the time. But to me, it was my whole world.
Right.
For
Right.
other people, it's like, oh, yeah, I tried that once. It was okay.
Yeah.
But for me, like, that was my whole identity. So I
Yeah.
didn't do it gracefully. Um, I don't know how other people do it, but, because it was for me. It's like the fact that it was the job I wanted, that
Yeah.
was what I wanted to do, but I still somehow got pushed out. Felt
Mm.
very again, I felt very cheated. So
Yeah.
it wasn't quite like the same situation as people who go into school and realize this isn't for me. That was their choice to
Right.
say, "I bow out," and to do that gracefully. For me, it was like I got shoved out of the door
Mm.
violently and
Gosh.
pushed onto my back in the grass, and I'm sitting here going, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, "How
Uh,
did this happen?"
and that's tough.
So I ended up, I got the heck over it. I ended up being like, "Do you know what? My kiddos are great. They are wild and wacky and everything I could hope for in a child. They've challenged me in many ways and,
Yeah.
helped me grow as a person, and I hit this point where I had do you ever have family who said not, to, like, anyone with children when they're just like, "I hope you have kids that are just like you."
Oh, yeah.
And you're like,
I think I may have
"That's such a
said that to
weird
my
thing to
sister.
say."
I hope you have kids just like
Ew.
you.
JC's that guy. He is that
I'm
guy.
the guy. No, I
Yeah.
understand what you mean. I get this. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I unfortunately had the biological mother who put that, like, curse on me.
Oh no.
It wasn't a sibling. I feel like sibling power is very different than that mother curse when the mother puts that on
I would
you.
agree. I would agree.
Um, so that always kinda sat in the back of my head like it does for a lot of us people that I was like, "Oh, would I want a child like me?" And then I got to the point where I had children, and when I would see some of those qualities in them, I was excited and
Yeah. That's cool.
I
That's awesome.
celebrated the way that they were, and I was like, "You're not just like me. I'm not supposed to make you just like me." I'd
Right.
see them turning a different direction, and I was like, "Look at you making your own choices." Like, I celebrated
Yeah.
it, and I thought it was beautiful. So yeah, I was like, I got kids that were just like I was a good kid, by the way, just so everyone knows. Internet? No, because I didn't have TikTok as a teenager,
Sure, she
thank
was a good kid.
God. Could you imagine? Like, oh my god, that would've been awful. But, like, yo, I was a good kid. I was a straight A student. I got grounded for, like, rolling my eyes, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was, like, the worst of what I did as a teenager. Like, "Oh, you had big feelings." Yeah, we all did because it's natural. But, like, I was well behaved. I never got in trouble. I always got straight A's. Made my bed every morning, like, come on, I was OCD. I was unmedicated OCD.
There you
My
go.
stuff was pristine. I had very few friends, and the friends I had, they were, like, lifelong friends. I caused no trouble, I never snuck out. So this whole, like, curse of I was a people pleaser, so this whole curse of,
Yeah.
"I hope you have children just like you," from my bio mom just felt like, "Yeah, me too. Hell yeah, I hope I do have kids just like me. You kidding me? I was a great kid." So I was just, like, waiting. I'm like, "Oh my god, please,
That's
please, please,
funny.
please, please." So I got these 2 little nuggets, and they're not just like me, but it's so easy they're so easy to love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't struggle in the way I think other generations have struggled connecting with their kids. And so I find myself to be very fortunate to have spent that time with them, to raise them, and to get to know them as
Yeah.
little people. Because I think if I was working all the time, I would not have felt so connected to my kids.
Yeah.
I probably would have struggled, with that, spending the time that I really would have wanted to. So, that was a nice thing, even though I was still angry about it at the time, um, of being like, great, I'm more useful sitting at home, not helping, the
Yeah.
public in general with my skill set, but it's like I wasn't mad that I got to raise my kids. I
Yeah.
love that part of my story, and I would never want to write it any other way. But that helped me heal, I think, from the anger and bitterness
Okay.
that came with realizing that EMS can no longer be a part of my life.
Right.
So having them, raising them, getting kids that were just easy to love because they were quirky and weird just like me, and I was like, "Oh, thank God." I couldn't possibly have a normal child in this house, that'd be so strange for them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
were a huge part of that healing process for me of kind of being like, "Okay, this is now what does mom get to do?
Yeah.
Now what can I fit into my life?" Because I'm still mom, but I kinda had to work, other things into the free time, to help support the family, and then that became, well, let's lean into the creative side of the brain instead of the systematic scientific side of the brain, which is still kinda there, which is what I like about 3D printing. 3D printing hit that for me.
Okay.
I know it all comes back it all comes
Yeah,
if he's in the story, I
exactly.
swear I'm
There
on
you go. There you go.
I'm on a track.
I know. I know you
Yeah,
are.
it it came down to, again, like, the body to me is a machine, and and so there's 2 kinds of calls in EMS. You have medical calls, you have traumatic calls.
Right.
So, medicine is, I have, emphysema and it's worsening, I'm having an asthma attack, I'm having an allergic reaction, you have your medical, and then you have the trauma, which something has occurred to the body, like an outside force has, happened to this
Right.
person, and they have injury due to that. So that acute injury is what you're
Yeah.
treating. And to me, when I started to see the machines, it was because I was making stuff and making cosplay for me and my family, and my friends kind of saw it in the background of my stream, and they were like, "Oh, you make stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, just ignore that."
That's
They're like, "No,
awesome.
no, no, we want to see it.
Yeah.
Like, bring it out here." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, you want to see it? That's crazy." So they wanted to see it. I showed them, and they're like, "Do a stream where you're sewing something," and I'm like, "Really? Okay, sure." So
Hmm.
it's like, "Whatever you guys want to see." I'd make stuff on stream, and so the longer I was in cosplay was right at the time I found, actually, it was Clayton's videos, Uncle Jesse videos on resin printing. It's like 3D printing. I remember talking about this when I was a kid. And I never thought I'd be alive long enough to see this.
Yeah.
And then 3D printing, I was like, I literally remembered a conversation I had with my brother about 3D printing as a kid and why that could never, like I remember having this discussion about why this could never be. He's like, no, this has already existed. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. Then I saw it on the internet one day in my 30s and was like, that's wild. So I just had to get a machine. Don't even know why. I just was like, I want a machine. So I got a resin printer, got into resin printing first because I liked painting. So it kind of made more sense to me. And then my friends finally convinced me to get into FDM. So when
Okay.
I saw the machines, that's what I liked was like, oh, you can mod the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. I like to tinker too. So it kind of satisfied that whole like when something was broken on the Ender 3, because it will inevitably be broken.
Oh, yep.
It
Inevitably.
will never not ever be broken. It will eventually hit the point where it is broken or needs to be fixed. I look like I could it sounds silly, but like you can look at a print and you can assess it. Like top to bottom, what happened first? Why is my machine not performing? Where is it broken? Where is it peeling up? Why is it peeling up? What are my
Mhm.
material? And it felt to me that very algorithmic way of working through a patient assessment. Sounds
Yeah.
kind of cheesy, but it's how I approach working with my machines now
Mine's
and helping other
usually,
people with the
did
machines.
I cause that blunt force trauma?
Where's my shoe? Did I
Exactly.
throw my shoe again? I don't know. I blacked out. Yeah, I was gonna say it creativity and tinkering meet. I would say it was good for me to learn something new, because you have to know so much about machinery mechanics and
Yeah.
fire academy. You have to know about the tools that you're using. You have to do all this whole bit on cars and car education and breaking the cars apart and what everything, you have to go through all of that. And so I felt satisfied that I could have these machines, that sometimes needed that extra help or that you could it had portions on it that would wear out, right? We have the consumables so that when things would stop working or stop working efficiently, that I it took me a long time to get there, but I finally got to the point where I felt confident, um, in fixing problems by
Right.
myself. Of course, I have my friends, and I'd rather like default to my friends.
Yeah.
"Hey, Bob, can you come look at
Bob.
this with me real quick?"
I know. Bob is over here commenting over and over.
See?
He has never
He's
seen
like, "Mhm."
acute injury. Ha 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 ha.
Ah, ha, ha,
Yeah,
ha,
yeah, yeah.
ha.
Medical jokes.
You. I was gonna say, never heard that one before.
I know, right?
No, we love
No,
Bob jokes. Yeah,
that's
to
cool.
default
No,
to your friends, "Really help me with this," but, like, I feel to the point where I can do these things on my own, that I really felt like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
That I feel like I can finally help other people with this. So I found my groove,
Awesome.
and like I said, the tinkering and the creativity, because I did what everyone else did. I'm never gonna design, I'm never gonna get into sculpting.
It's not what I want to
Girl,
do. Yeah.
so stupid for me to say never, because I was gonna do that eventually.
Yeah.
So I did. I ended up, of course, getting in there and learning how to sculpt and, just let my I had to, like, give myself permission to let that identity go, and it took me a really long time, and
Yeah.
I still struggle with it some mornings, but, until I get that first coffee or Red Bull, then I'm, like,
Yeah.
ready to take on the world,
Now, do you
but
have that,
I still struggle with that.
do you have that group around you, those people that when you get to that point, because some mornings I'm the guy who wants to like curl up in bed and just not see the world, leave my doors closed. I have the blind curtains, so there's no light in, and I just want to, do you have that support system? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I I'm lucky enough to have some friends that, have experienced some of what I've experienced, and even though, like, our past might have looked very different,
Hmm.
a lot of the feelings that we experienced along the way were similar, the same, so, um, yeah, people in EMS, I mean, if anyone knows a nurse, if you know a nurse, you know this about people. We have a dark sense of humor because you
Hmm.
see so many, it's like the only way to combat it, it's like you fight dark with dark. You
Right.
can't just like always be like happy positivity, smile every day, everything's great, come get ready with me. Like it's not those videos, chat. It's, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens,
Mm.
and it's just human nature. So to pretend like it's not there and try to like fight the dark with light, and I'm gonna be so happy and positive every day,
She
like
does that
that.
so well. You got to do some videos like that.
Okay, I just watched this video that was like, millennial mom influencer hands, and I'm still just like reeling over this video because like everything that she was doing in this, I was like, oh my god, yes, the millennial moms totally do this with their hands as they talk, and I want to do this. I want to do this video one day,
You
like.
should.
So you can't really do that. You can't just be like, I'm going to be so positive that it drives out all the dark. It doesn't work like that. It's not how science is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not. And so a lot of us kind of like this, it feels like the only way to, it's like a crashing wave.
Yeah.
You're looking at this ginormous wave that's about to hit you, and it's like, look, I can try to like stand my ground and be like, no, or you can dive into the water, hit the base of that wave, and you can just like go into it and let it carry you.
Yeah. Ray Skullman
And so
says
that's kind
it's
of,
a New York thing.
it is also a New Yorker thing. Like it's
Yeah.
a dark, that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's like we see so much crap. You're like, how am I going to deal with it? It's like you see anyone walking around New York be like, "How do you do?"
No.
No, there's a reason that we're like this. This is how we've learned to survive.
Yeah.
You lean into it a little bit. And like I said, a lot of physicians and nurses, if you know one loved one, then you probably know they have a
Yeah.
dark sense of humor, because that's kind of the way you fight it, is to lean into it ever so slightly. You can't let it consume you, but you got to lean into it just a little bit and
Yeah.
let the current carry you.
Yeah.
So I still carry that with me. And my friends, even though they didn't go the medical route, they have definitely experienced a lot of what I've experienced, and
Hmm.
we have that that dark sense of humor in common. Yeah. Optimistic pessimism. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
Yes. I love that saying. I would say I love that. The talking with your hand, but not like the talking with the hands that like what we do when I'm like talking,
There you go.
Sam's like, oh my God, let me tell you about my day. Not like I feel like it's like I'm talking a different dialect right now. It's not the New Yorker talking with your hands kind of a thing. Cause like
Right.
this is New Yorker talking with your hands. Influencer mom hands are like very different. I don't know. It's
I
almost
want
a
to
little
see
bit
that
of that
video.
I'm gonna
I
find
want to
it for
see
you.
it.
What was, Anchorman? Was it Anchorman?
Thank
No,
you.
no, no, Talladega Nights. I was
Talladega
like, "No, it was
Nights.
Will
Yes. I know
Ferrell."
what you're talking about.
Talladega
I know what
Nights,
you're talking about.
he's
Yep.
like, "I don't know what to do with my hands." Like that, it's that kind of a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, she kinda had this little, like, tilt to her head and right? As a neurodivergent, I'm, like, super obsessed with all of these little quirks of people and how they talk,
Yeah.
and this one got me because I was like, "I've seen this, and I've studied this." They all kind of have, like, these same,
Hmm.
you guys go
They
watch it.
do. They
Watch it right
do.
now.
They do.
Not right now. Wait until,
Wait until
stream's
this is
over.
over. Wait
But
until this is over.
wait until
We're
stream's over. But when you see it, mom's like, "Come get ready with me as I go take my
jazz
kids to the
hands.
park," and then we're gonna kind of is jazz hand. It's a little bit more jazz handy, whereas, like, New Yorker talk is like a little more if you have an
Yeah.
Italian friend, you know.
Yeah.
This is a little more of that
If
emphasis
you have
of,
long nails, you
you
have to
know,
kind of do the thing with your nails.
do a
But
little
yeah,
bit of a click,
yeah,
get a little bit of
but,
the click in there.
yeah,
But, you know, that's how we cope. But I
that's
thought that was
awesome.
so funny that now I'm like, "Am I doing it? Am I doing it right?"
Yeah, I thought about you
Hey,
the other
guys,
day
come get ready with
when I
me.
saw Pooch's video. I was expecting you to come out with a video, you know, where you hit the camera and you're like, "Stop adding lasers to 3D printers." And I don't know if you saw the Pooch tweet. That was pretty funny.
I saw I saw Pooch's video. I was about to say I should do one on his video where I'm like, "Stop putting printers on walls.
Or hanging them from ceilings. Yeah, I know.
Stop hanging printers from structures."
That'd be funny. That would be
I need
awesome.
to do that one.
Yeah, you
I'll make
should.
that
You should
video.
definitely do that. Well, guys, we are getting close to the end of our interview with Brit here. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and we're going to get a little less out of the heavy stuff and move on to the
Yeah.
millennial fingers part. Hey, I do have a question because I have a nephew who says "skibbity toilet" all the time, and I don't know what that means. What does that mean? You've got to know. You
So
got kids.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I have bonus children. They're teens. And so I feel like I do. I have to study. I have to study. I have to not make a fool of myself when they're around because I love them so much.
Uh,
I don't want to be. I know I'm uncool, but I try to be like as
yeah.
like as cool as possible. I know that's like such a stupid thing to say because if you know me, you're like, don't just stop. That is such a waste of time.
Yeah.
But I try to be cool, so I try to like keep up on all the lingo and stuff. But all I can say is I would explain it to you, but I'm gonna sound like a dummy dumb,
Okay.
and you should look up Urban Dictionary everything.
Okay.
Just like go ahead and bookmark it.
I'll
You'll
do
thank me
it.
later.
I look at it
Bookmark
sometimes,
it.
but I'm like, I didn't want to
'Cause
know what that word meant. That was the last word I wanted. I should have looked up.
they give you the description, but they also use it in a
Right.
context. So they'll give you an
Okay.
example of the word, which I love. And right, such a nerd, oh my god, sorry, I'm such a bookworm person. I'm like,
No,
let
I
me
love it.
study it.
I love it.
But yeah, the Urban Dictionary, the stuff.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. So let's get into some of the other questions that I know a lot of people in the room. First, we have to answer the Nate question. Favorite ice cream?
Okay. Bluebell mint chocolate chip.
Oh, Bluebell. You go. You just
Bluebell specifically.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a texture thing.
Yeah.
Girl, if you all know what I'm talking, if you guys go
Yeah.
anywhere near the state of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's like there in the surrounding states because we can't get
Yeah.
it here. But if you go anywhere around Texas,
It's actually
yo.
made it up here to Virginia. It's made it to Virginia. Yeah.
No.
And we have
That's
it
so
in a
close
couple.
though.
We have it in a couple of grocery stores. And so
Okay, do you
yeah,
have the
those
little
little
cups
quarts.
or do
They
you
have the
have the
quarts
gallon
and
and
the
a
big
half?
ones. Yeah, they have both. They
Oh
have both.
man. Okay.
And
If you haven't had the mint chocolate chip, oh my, it's a
I've
texture.
had
The
it.
way, so it's like, oh my
I'm from
god. I was say the
Mississippi.
way that
I
they
grew
like,
up with Bluebell. I grew
oh,
up with
that's
Bluebell.
right.
Yeah,
I
I'm from
forgot.
originally. So
I
yeah,
don't need to
chocolate
tell
chip,
you.
cookie dough, blah blah, all that. Yeah, I'm so
Oh,
in.
it's so good.
So
So
in.
good. Yeah.
Uh,
That was an easy. I was gonna say that was an easy one. Chat Master Puppets.
yeah.
Yeah. There's Yeah, I
For,
was gonna say. All right, Julie knows. What's her name? Her name Made with Hope.
okay.
All right. So if you guys want to know, skibbity skibbity toilet, Ohio Riz.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. She cracks me up. Made with Hope.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to like duet something with her one time because she's so freaking funny. If you want to know what all those things actually mean, I got an echo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's the person to tell you. She's an art teacher. She does art for like K through 4th, I think, K through 5th. And so she'll tell you all that. She sits there and she makes.
Hold on. What?
What is it?
I don't know.
I hear it's Nate's birthday. Where the hell's it?
Oh, Nate. It's not
Where's
Nate's
Nate?
birthday. It's not Nate's birthday.
brought a
Dud and them
candle.
always go back and forth.
But I brought a candle. How can
She's
it not be?
just-
I brought
Oh,
popcorn.
she brought a
How
candle
can
out
it
for
not
his
be his birthday. I have a
Nate.
candle that.
You
Fine,
guys,
It's okay.
Fine. Hi, Brett.
that is hi.
She
Hi,
says
friend.
hello.
Sorry, I can't hear you because you're
There
on
you
the
go.
cans.
Now you can.
Oh.
Okay. Hearts and hearts and hearts.
Hearts and hearts and hearts. So, you have a question for
She's
her?
just-
I know you've been watching some.
I have been. No, I've been watching, but that's.
I'll say
I
she
did-
knows.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
She
hi.
knows all the answers. Fine.
I know she
No, but-
totally knows all the answers. Yeah, definitely.
She knows all the answers.
First printer. I think I already have a clue because I think you've mentioned it. But what was your first
Oh,
printer?
let's say, well, the Anycubic Proton Mono.
Okay. All right.
What was it? Was my first. That was my first resin printer. But my actual first FDM printer was Creality CR10 10S.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
And
Favorite.
then I got
Yeah, the
and went
gold.
back and got
I like the gold back there. Favorite printer? Favorite printer? Okay. Okay.
These guys right here.
I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in. I went with that one. Did someone just say resin? Akuma says, "Hey,
Right.
Courtney." It's always Akuma. Bringing up the
But
resin.
those parts like gang signs.
Yeah, I know. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. That will get me
A
banned.
lot of practice.
But
Might as well get them in chat. Yup, yup. Yep, yep,
there
yep.
you go. Get the yub nub in there. Get all the yub nubs in there. But okay, so ask some questions, guys. We're gonna fire some things out here. Let's see what you got. Come on, give me some questions. I know you got some.
I have one.
Okay, what is
I
it?
have one.
All right.
How much of an attitude did you have to pull on the tech support at Prusa who was not believing you that your anniversary edition was in fact not working?
Yeah.
like,
there was.
I know.
We got to the point where I was like taking out my hoops. I was like, okay, look at
Yeah.
Shoes off, earrings out. Here we
I
go.
understand.
we were okay for a
how
second.
it works. I know. I felt bad because.
I know. You never
know,
want to
and
pull
I
the like.
actually-
You
I
know
ran-
who I am.
Right. Well, and I ran
So
into it too,
stupid,
and I
but,
was
like-
like, I understand, but I keep sending you the video of what it's doing, and it's not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I'm saying the fact that I was posting the videos. So if, I guess I should give the rundown. I got one pre-built. I got one as a kit, and the one as a kit came to me because it was returned. So I got told, "Oh, this is so rare. There's no possibility that your board is bad." And I was like, "Hear me out."
Hear me out. Oh,
Hear me
no.
out. So like, look at, I made the videos. I did everything they wanted me to do, and I even got like steps ahead of him and was like, I know you're gonna ask me these specific things. And so I went ahead and I videoed all of it. Was like, I did this, I did this, I did that, I did that. Just so you know, the only possible way it could be this is this because I tested this on the other printer. And they're like, oh, you have another printer? I said, yeah. They're like, do you want to just take that motherboard out and put it into this one over here? And I was like, absolutely. I've already spent 6 hours on the phone with you.
What the heck?
No. And so I went back later and they were just like, sorry, you should not ask you to take apart a working printer to test this. I was like, you should looked at the video I sent. So I was very frustrated. That was the only frustration I've ever had. I think it was that person was just super gung-ho that day and was,
Yeah.
I felt
but
bad
yeah,
'cause
the
you
other
were so-
time I had to contact support, they were super nice and just like, oh, you got a problem? Nope, no worries. And they made it so easy. So maybe it was like payment.
Well, I felt bad because, and like I said, I've had really good experience with it, but there was one time I was frustrated. But you were so excited, and you'd gotten the printer, and then you'd done everything right, and then right at the point where you got to actually use it, yeah. Anyway, I felt bad
right.
about that. All right, that was my
Okay.
question.
Okay, that was her question. Here we go.
More of a tell a story.
All right, guys. So, Yoda or Grogu?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. There you go.
I quote
would
Yoda like
agree.
every day.
Oh.
I literally drop a Yoda quote like every day of my life. But like, guys, Grogu. Oh my God, that thing is so cute. It
very
should be
cute.
illegal. I
Very,
love
very
him so
cute.
much.
Yeah.
I would die for that thing.
I always
Favorite
like.
animal?
Yep. Favorite animal?
Squirrels.
Squirrels.
Well, I love bats, but I have this thing. If you guys follow me on socials, I try to post a squirrel every day. But my joke is I see a squirrel somewhere in life every day.
Dude, and the
Like, I know it's
squirrels
a
in New York,
coincidence.
they're like gangster. I
They're
mean,
everywhere.
yeah, they're everywhere.
But I
and-
see them everywhere.
Yeah.
Video games, books, toys. Like I just see them just around. Like I saw one in like this lady's skirt the other day. She had a pattern with a squirrel in it. So I like took a little picture of the squirrel. Like I just post pictures of
Yeah.
where the squirrels I see. So if you guys like squirrels, follow me on socials.
Yeah.
I do love bats. Bats are kind of my thing. Like they have my heart because they're such fascinating creatures
They
and
are.
where they. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna get into the bat
But
thing, but like bats.
Check her Twitter. You'll see all the squirrel photos. I
see the
actually sent
squirrels.
her a squirrel, a picture of a squirrel eating a donut one time. So it's a lot of fun. Send her squirrel pictures. She loves them.
Yeah, I'll
She
post
loves
them
them.
too.
Let's see. We got going through all the questions. There was one other question. What was favorite animal? Oh,
Favorite RepRap fest.
favorite pizza place. Favorite pizza place.
Favorite pizza
Let's take
place.
this down to New York. Everybody's always looking for a good pizza place in New York. Don't do
Yeah,
the touristy thing. Let's send them into the
I
deepest,
know.
darkest alleys of New York.
So like I'm on a grandma kick right now. Like I'm on a grandma slice kick where the corners specifically. I don't know why. Everyone has
Okay.
season. It's like Metallica albums. Like you go through seasons,
Mm-hmm.
as to like what's prominent in your life at that time. So right now, honestly, like I think it's just because I haven't had it in a while. There's tons of like amazing pizza. You have to have all the different kinds. There's nothing that's like better than the other.
Okay.
But lately, I've been craving Two Boots because the one that was closest to me and where like where I go often shut down. So Two Boots is one of those places they do the cornmeal crust. It's just like, oh, the texture's just so good. But they also do like really interesting toppings.
Okay.
So they're not like the most famous place, but there's this one
Right.
grandma spot. I can't even think of what it's called right now, but it's over near West Fourth. And I went there with my friend Ian, and I don't know if they shut down, but I cannot find it now to save my life because I googled it the other day.
Oh,
But if you come here, like I'll give you the whole
okay.
spiel. But Two Boots right now
Two Boots.
has been my craving. Two
Yeah.
Boots.
I'm sad because like every time I go to New York, I have to get a papaya dog.
Oh, of course.
I know. I don't know why. I mean, I don't even like them that much. But there's
Dirty
just
water
something
dog.
about them. They're just really, really weird.
Not squirrels. I know.
All right,
Forgive me for the squirrel
we
thing.
got Earth as favorite festival. Are you going? What
Yep.
festivals are you going to this year?
So I typically go to East Coast.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. 3D Printopia. I apologize. Sorry, Chris. I'm so sorry. Don't tell him I said the wrong thing.
Not
Look, I'm old.
Earthtopia, as some people call it.
Earthtopia. I'm so sorry. 3D Printopia. But Earth has my heart. That was actually I went to Midwest, the first one that I went to, but East Coast is closest to me.
Okay.
So I think that's my favorite. It's all the way indoors. So I like air conditioning.
Yeah, it is definitely all the way indoors. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. We got anybody else? Anything else? This is it, guys. This is it. Last chance to ask her questions. All right.
Welcome to Earth.
Favorite thing you've ever printed? I love that question. I don't ask that a lot because nobody can ever make up their mind. But
I was
what?
gonna say I do have one favorite print.
Okay, good.
I do, and it's because I didn't design it. Is it back there? Back there. Let me grab it. I'm gonna grab it.
She's grabbing it, guys. She'll be back here in just a minute. You can hear her struggling and fighting, right?
Oh my God.
What
Okay.
have we got?
It's easy. It's easy to get a very nice print off of a very nice printer,
Okay.
right? Like anyone can do that. But this print, like when I say this print is flawless, this print is flawless. So this is actually designed by my friend Erin, the Brit Saber.
The Brit Saber.
So it's a personalized lightsaber just for me, and I got this off of my Ender 3 with no mods.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it even has this is kind of stuck in there, but it even has a crystal chamber in there.
That's awesome.
So my Kyber crystal is in there as well. So all of this came off of my Ender 3. And could I print it on these other very nice machines? Yeah, I absolutely could. And they would look beautiful too. We're not going to take that away from that. Calm down. Calm down. We're not taking it away from you. Let the Ender have its moment.
That's
God,
funny.
they think everything is about them. They're so
I
rude. I
know.
swear to God. But no, I got this absolutely flawless print off of my Ender 3.
That is great.
And then I never got another print off of it ever again.
Oh no.
Darn it. I made this on an Ender 3 with no mods. I just had it so keyed in so perfectly. I had leveled it by hand. I just was so on point that day that I was like, heck yeah, I got this amazing print off of it. And yeah, never got anything out of that print again.
That is crazy.
Easy. This is my favorite thing.
That is crazy. That's crazy. All right, well, guys, thank y'all for being here tonight. Britt, thank you for being here tonight, guys. I want y'all in the chat. Give me some hand waves. Give Britt some hand waves. Let that be a thank you to her. Send the hearts her way. And then what I need you to do, guys, I need you to do a couple of things. First off, you need to follow her. She is Creatrix Brit everywhere. On top of Polymaker Education. So follow both of those accounts if those are the things that you are interested in. Her account is fun. It's quirky. There's some good educational information in there. There's some good entertaining stuff on there. Just a lot of stuff happens on her channel. And then Polymaker Education is where she does her real everyday job, right? Some people get to have fun doing their real everyday job, you know, like her, like Courtney, the one over there. And so
Which way to point? Backwards.
Are we weird?
my head, well, I'm close to the camera. My head is big. She's calling me big-headed. Can y'all believe that? Anyway, y'all saw the URL I put up there. She does have a link tree as well, a link tree, Creatrix Brit. Get over there. That you will find all of her socials, all of her stuff, all of her business that she wants you to know about. And it's a great place to look just to find her. So get over there, follow her, watch her on Twitch. You know, you do a Twitch. How often do you go on Twitch?
I do. I'm on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. EST, where I like to make stuff and interview my friends.
There's
and
her
awesome
spiel.
people and other makers. Yeah.
She's got the spiel, guys. She's got the spiel. That is awesome. So it's a lot of fun. She has multi-cameras running. She sits there painting, doing stuff. That she has guests come in. She does all sorts of just it's good conversation. Good conversation. A lot of fun just to hang out. Sometimes I just put it on the cabinet and listen, because there's a lot of just fun stuff happening. So get over there and follow her. But thank y'all for being here. Britt, is there any last thing you want to say before we leave?
Not a whole lot, you guys. Just maybe, you know, that thing that's been nagging at you that you're like, I really want to, I want to make that thing, you know, that little personal project, that thing that's been, I know it's been nagging at you because we all have one. You know what you should do? I want you to start that for yourself this week.
Awesome.
Do something nice for yourself. Start that print, and may the force be with you.
Awesome. And also you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to drop you back to the green room, Britt. Thank you very much. I'll come talk with you in just a minute. But guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. And my other guest who has allowed me to stay as a guest here for tonight.
No, you help. What are you talking about?
well,
I have to pay you because I'm like, please stay. I will buy you Taco Bell. I bought you Taco.
She did buy me Taco Bell.
My husband
Yeah,
did.
Taco
I
Bell.
haven't done anything.
Taco
Well,
Bell.
anyway, thank you for staying. No,
No.
you've been great.
No problem. But thank you guys for being here tonight. We're going to close this down. I might come back up live in a minute, but you know, guys, that's what's awesome about the people that we invite on this show. They're honest, right? They tell us the things about their lives, the things that are going on, and there's real stories there. There's real people there. They're not just creators. They're not just doers who do, right? They are people, and they're people that we get to know, that we get to just enjoy and watch their lives from afar. And sometimes as you get to know them closer up. So remember, look at your creators. Follow your creators, support your creators, and get to know who they are, not just what they do, because they are those people that I was talking about. That's one of the things where I talk about living life to the fullest, right? We want to do that, but we want to grow in wisdom. And wisdom, that's something you learned tonight. You learned about her life, the things that are going on in her life, and how she deals with them every day. That's something to learn, guys. And then after you learn, the other important part is to teach. You want to show what you have learned generously. So y'all have a great night. Thank you for coming, and I'll see y'all next week. Tuesday night, I'll be putting a Voron together. The Thursday night, I will probably, I don't know who I'm going to interview. I'll have to look and watch my channel. You have to watch my channel or join the Discord to find out. All right? See y'all next week, guys. I'm out.